Hey everyone, welcome to our webinar. My name is Yulia Sinyanska and as I work as a commercial support lead in Parallels. So let's start. First of all, let's check the sound. Can you hear me well? If you have any technical problems, just drop a line in our chat in our technical group. We'll be glad to help. You can just drop a line right now so I know that you can hear me well and we can start. Yeah, plus is also fine. Okay, so let's start. Few words about our project first. SUPNET or Support Network. It is a great place to build new connections and find inspiration in the tech support area. It's a community for technical support specialists, for technical support managers, team leads, and customer service engineers. What do? We provide participants with the chance to get inspired and energized. What's our main goal? To meet people, share experience and knowledge, find new ideas and solutions, to expand your network and exchange tech support life hacks. But practically a year ago, we with my colleagues decided to organize this community. And starting from September 2016, we held 7 meetups, lots of webinars, workshops. This time, we have limited the number of participants on purpose, as it's not just a webinar, it's an interactive activity in which we're together finding out what makes the call with our customers successful. So please do participate in the surveys we have provided for you today, and it will contribute greatly to the success of our online meeting. First of all, let's find out who is new to our SUPNET community. Could you please just fill in the survey on the screen and choose one options from the answers. The first one is joined event for the first time, knew about SUPNET but never participated in our events like meetups, workshops, and the last one participated in SUPNET events before. I'll give you just 2 minutes to fill in, to choose the option. If you're already chosen the option, you can just drop me a line in chat and tell me which city are you from, because I know that we have participants from different locations. We are currently located in Moscow, so we have our colleagues from Moscow too. That's great. What other cities are you from? Yekaterinburg. All right, that's great. What else? Zelenograd. All right, it's a small one, but a famous one, I guess. And St. Petersburg. We have organized 2 meetups in St. Petersburg in September and this February, actually. And we have the results. Let's check. So a lot of our participants tonight knew about SUPNET, but never participated in our meetups. Well, welcome to our community. And for those who have participated in SUPNET events before, we're really glad to see you again. And well, hopefully you're following us on Facebook and taking part in our events all the time. So what we're gonna do today? Today we're gonna talk about customer conversations. In support, we talk a lot. We always talk with our colleagues, with the customers, with teams from different departments. You can't work in support and be silent. You need to know how to explain the issue in details, how to provide the customer with the instructions, calm down the demanding client, answer the millions of questions about the product or special offers. Well, the list is really long. But good conversation is our main goal and our main tool at the same time. Today, we are going to answer the following questions. How to make the call successful, how to find out real customer needs out of a messy call, and how to answer tricky questions on release dates and ETAs for bugs from a demanding customer. But before we start, let's find out who's using phone as a support channel for the customers. Again, the survey is on the screen. Here we have different options with the channels of the support. So what support channel do you have? Do you use email only for customers to actually contact the support? Do you use email and chat? Do you have the phone only? Or do you use all the options from the above? Just 2 minutes because the choice is really, really easy to make. And the results. Let's check them out. Oh, as you can see, we have lots of participants who have all options from the above. That's great because tonight we're going to talk about phone conversations, but the tips and hints that we're going to use, you can also use them in email support. So if you have email support and the phone support, that's really awesome, and it will be helpful for you. But as we are started to talk about phone support, do you know the history of the phone support actually? The first phone support call centers appeared in 1960, and they were especially popular in 70s when the first interactive voice response has been created. Now we can't imagine our life without it. Until 1996, there were phone support only, and in 1996, email and chat emerged. Fast forward to 2017, when the customer experience has become new marketing and technology has transformed the voice channel, companies are returning to phones to set themselves apart from the competitors. So I think that the phone support is really important, and to have a great conversation with the customers, to build relationships with the customers via the phone support is really our main goal. Also, it has always been the support team's objective, first contact resolution, and it can be easily reached with the call, because you can call the customer and just solve the issue on the fly. Let's find out, what do you think the phone support is required or not? And could you please tell me why? Share your thoughts with us in chat. And well, it can be just a simple yes or no and a short explanation. Why do you think so? Chat. Let's wait for all participants to actually share their thoughts there. All right, we have first answers. Sasha from Moscow thinks that the phone support is required and it's the fastest way to get the answer. Yeah, that is correct. As I said, it's not only the fastest way to get the answer from the customer, it's the fastest way to actually communicate with the customer, because if you call the customer or if the customer calls you, he receives the answer on his question just right away. The other answer is no. It is only distract you from your work. That's actually an interesting thought. Well, it can be so. For example, if you are loaded with email tickets and with the chats, and then suddenly you receive a call, it can distract you from your work. But at the same time, for example, if there is a rotation between the engineers in your team, and there are guys who are answering the calls and the guys who are just replying to email tickets, in that case, you won't have any disruption. All right, email support is too slow. Yeah, that's actually true. It is slowly, and well, because when the customer sends us an email, he expects to receive an answer in 24 hours. It's great if he receives an answer like before, and if your team answering very fast, but the known standard worldwide, it is 24 hours. Can you imagine if you have just an urgent issue and you need someone to answer you immediately? The phone will work here. The next option is, yes, it is important for the customer to feel that there is someone real from the other side, to feel support and confidence. Well, yeah, that is true, because some customers still need to be in touch with the person. They would like to hear the real voice. They would like to actually discuss their problem. And sometimes we know that it's like a common presence. When the customer calls you, an engineer on the other side is patient and reasonable, the customer is becoming more and more calm, and they feel each other. You can say like that. So the next answer is yes, it is a real-time conversation. That one we has discussed already. Yes, I think it would help reassure a lot of people to know they can get a quick answer from a human. Yeah, this actually just merge the two previous answers about the fast answer and the human. It is still very important to the clients to speak with a human. All right, I think we have one more. Oh, it's actually the question. That is great. If you have questions, you can just drop them in chat, and our moderators will choose the best questions and we will answer them on the fly if they are on the same subject, or we will just answer them at the end. So the question is, what if it is required to reply? I must wait another 1-3 days. Yeah, that's correct. If you send an email to the customer support and they replied you back in 1 day, you actually received it like well, for example, in 10 hours after it was in your inbox. You checked it in 10 hours after it was in your inbox, and you are asking again. So imagine that such kind of conversation can be for a week or even longer. So you won't receive your solution immediately. All right. Actually, I have some statistics here too. So I know, for example, there was a research in this year, and the phone remains the most used and preferred method for reaching support agents. So still 50% of the clients use the phone support. And when actually the researchers asked the clients if they prefer the phone support or the email support, 80% have chosen the phone support. So it is really important to have it. If you don't, just think about it. And we are going further. So as I said, tonight we're going to talk about how to make the call successful. It's our first question tonight, and why it is so important. Being a gifted communication doesn't come natural to most of us, and especially when it is communication with customers. It is indeed a challenging task. But at the same time, effective communication is within our reach if we know some tips. So what do you think can make your call successful? What's your opinion? Please again share your thoughts in chat. So tell us, what makes the phone conversation successful? From your point of view, of course, or from your experience, because I'm sure that you have lots of experience communicating with the customers. Please type in chat your answers. And we will discuss them together. By the way, if you have some thoughts on the answers and on my opinion, you can just share, you can just like react in chat, and it will be a real-time discussion. In my personal opinion, the most important thing in the successful call is actually listening, because if you listen carefully, you can react appropriately. And the ability to really listen to customer is so crucial for providing great service. And we have the first answers. Let's check them. So Konstantin thinks that we need to understand the real client's problem. Yeah, that is correct, because sometimes if it's a messy email or if it's a chat conversation, and well, if it's a messy call even, it is really hard to understand what customer need and what is the issue is. So one of the most important things is to understand the real customer problem. It's better to have a plan of the call in advance. Well, that is actually questionable. The plan is great, but not the script. We're going to talk about it a little bit about scripts and the plan, because if you have a plan, that's okay. You know what questions you would ask first. You know how you're going to hold the conversation. But I'm against the scripts. But let's discuss it later. Make sure everyone understands everything. Well, that one is really great. Yeah, it's really important to make sure that you understand the customer correctly and the customer understands you too. So the first tip here is actually to repeat the customer issue. For example, the customer is calling you and saying that he have problems with the printers, and he explained you in details, like in long sentences with lots of small details. So just try to catch the main idea and ask the customer back, sir, if I understand you correctly, you have the issue with printers, and describe the issue that you actually just get. Right attitude. Well, that one is really great. It can sound obvious at first, but if you smile, the customer can hear you even on the phone. So I always recommend to our engineers to smile, even if they are not using web camera, even if it's just a phone conversation. Smile, and you have another voice, and they will hear it. Yep, listen to your client. True story. That's great. We need to listen to customers carefully, and we need to be attentive to the details. Confidence, and you should know your product. Well, that is true, of course. As a support engineer, you should know your product very well, and you should be confident in what you're saying. Just imagine you're calling the engineer who is supporting the product that you have, like for example, for 3 years, and you know the product really well, but you still have some issues you need to solve. And you're asking the question, well, for the engineers, and they cannot reply you back because they just don't know it. So, or they reply you with some phrases like, to be honest, I have to check. Well, that's okay if you don't know something, but just be confident and tell them, okay, all right, I know we have that functionality, but let me check first. It's not a problem. It is okay not to know something, but be confident. Show your confidence to the client. Well, thanks a lot for the participation, and let's check the cases here because I have some examples. So the first one is is on your screen. You can read it, and I bet you all receive some such kind of emails or the phone calls, because sometimes the customers are just being offensive, they're trying to sue you, or they're just trying to, oh, to get to you. What do you think is the right answer here? What shall they answer? Could you please share your thoughts in chat if you have any? My answer will be about the refund policy, that you need to actually thank the customer for the email first, and then just check and then the answer will be, well, let me see what we can do here. And for example, if you have a policy that is actually covering the case that you cannot provide the customer with this refund, it's okay, but you need to have this policy posted on your website. In this case, you can just tell the customer to look at this policy and just to explain him that, well, we're really sorry, but our policy doesn't allow us to provide you with the refund. The answer from chat, calm the customer down. Yeah, that one is correct. You need to calm the customer down. You need to actually show that you understand why he would like to get a refund, right? And actually, sometimes it's a really valuable information, because you can share this information with marketing, and you can share this information with, well, with the developers sometimes, if it's about the product functionality. Let's check some tips here. So every communication matters. No matter how brief communication or significant it may seem at first, it makes an impression. So handle it appropriately. Even such kind of emails, which are rude at first, they matters to your customers, they matters to your client. Always be very polite and show the customer that you're actually trying to help. Next one is to use scripts or not to use scripts. Well, they can help agent. We actually started to ask this question in chat first, right? So scripts can help agents remain consistent across the call, and it's actually a very common question. They can help retain information, avoid mistake, and, well, just to find out more details. But however, customers can smell call center scripts from a mile away, trust me. If you opt to write scripts for your outbound call strategy, the trick is to craft them to help agents without tying their hands. So you should be really thoughtful about that, because scripts, well, it's in my personal opinion, we don't use scripts, but we use plan. as it was discussed before, the plan here is better because if you have a plan, you know how to lead the conversation, but you still are not very strict. You have some kind of flexibility here. And one more tip is the customer is not always right. We all know that. But the customer is still the customer and he's valuable for us. So we have to make them feel valued. How to do that? Well, smile, listen carefully, be attentive to the details, and always try to help. All right, let's go further. Our second question for tonight is how to find out real customer needs out of a messy call. So let's go straight to the example here. On the screen, I'm showing you the quote from the customer's email. So could you please read it carefully? I'm not going to read it out loud, but could you please read it carefully and tell me, did you get the main idea actually? You can just type me yes or no in chat. No, the first answer is no. Yeah. That's what I thought. It is actually pretty messy and you can't get the main idea at first because the description have lots of details and you cannot get what is the issue actually. So what do you think will be the right answer here? We have a survey on your screen, survey number 3. Which answers are the right one? You can choose here 2 or 3 options. It's up to you. It's not the one option. Sorry. So the first one, I'm sorry you don't understand the process. The second one, it's clear to most people. I don't know why you don't get it. The third one, sure, I'd be glad to help. May I ask you a few questions first? Read the manuals. Here is the link. Just to ensure that I got you right, I'd like to clarify some details. Would that be okay? Just one more minute to choose the right answer, and we will go further. A little spoiler, there are 2 correct answers here. Yeah, small tip for you. All right, let's check the results together. So lots of you have chosen 2 options actually, and you were completely right. Sure, I'd be glad to help. May I ask you a few questions first? And just to ensure that I got you right, I'd like to clarify some details. Would that be okay? Yeah, that's the correct answers because in the first one, you're just showing the customer that you don't want to help him. You're just trying to put him like in a position that he's not right. In the second option, you're a little bit rude, don't you think so? The third one is great because you are saying that you're ready to help and you're asking for details. Read the manuals. Well, it's a good one, but still, how can you show the customer which manuals you have to read if you don't know what the issue is? And the last one, well, that is very polite one. It's to clarify the details, and you're asking the permission actually to clarify the details, which is also really good. Let's go back to our presentation and check the tips here. So the first tip would be to actually listen and rephrase appropriately. This is for the call. If you have an email, you should read carefully and rephrase appropriately. Try to say what the issue is in your own words. Ask questions to find catch points, and the questions should be what and why. You need to understand what happens, and you need to try to understand why. Or you need to understand why customer is trying to do that, which is also very important, because sometimes you can just provide him with the alternative ways. Inform and clarify the customer what you will do. This one is a really great one because you should actually tell the customer what are the next steps and what are you going to do. So summarize the next steps. This is also, well, in brief, you can just tell what are the next steps and you should put a small summary, what you're going to do and why you're going to do that. and set a deadline or time frame before the customer asks. Because, for example, if you are telling the customer, all right, I will check that with the development and get back to you. Trust me, in 2 or 3 hours, if the issue is urgent, customer will call you back. So you have to tell the customer when you're gonna come back to him and when you actually will explain the details or when you provide him with the workaround. If you don't have a workaround at that time, still contact the customer and explain him that you need some more time. Be in touch with him. And let's check the examples. Here we have an examples from a real emails or a real phone conversation that we usually have in support. I will read them out loud. Thanks for the call. The issue you described sounds urgent. Let me help you right away. The next one. In order to help you, I need to ask some questions. Is that okay? That one is good one. So you're actually asking for the permission and you're showing that you're very polite with the customer. I need to check your profile so I can give you the correct balance. Are you able to hold while I do that? This one is actually an example from a real email that we have, and you're just showing the customer what steps you have to do. So let me clarify the next steps. I'm going to check with our marketing and get back to you in 3 hours max. Here you set in an ETA. Let's check the questions in chat. I had a customer who hung up on me. Should I call him back? What should I tell him? Well, that's a great question. Thanks, Sasha, a lot. So if a customer hung up on you, and it can happen, truly, we all have such kind of situation. It is better to wait for some time, like for, well, let's say for half an hour and call him back because the customers still need your help. And the main thing, the most important thing, that you have to be polite. You have to still be very polite with him and try to help him. What if customer interrupts you all the time? Well, it's a hard situation actually, because sometimes when you're trying to explain something, especially in details, for example, if the issue is really complicated and you're trying to put all the details in your answer, it is hard when the customer interrupts you with all the additional questions or when he just don't want to listen to you. So wait for some time, listen carefully to him first, and when you're trying to tell him something, if he still interrupts you, it's okay to interrupt him back, but with the special words. You can say, I'm sorry for interrupting, but let me please explain what the question is. Or, I'm really sorry for interrupting you, sir, but I would like to share the explanation with you. That's okay, because sometimes the customer can go on and on like in circles about his issue. So that's okay to interrupt him, but be polite and tell him, I'm sorry for interrupting. What phrase? I don't talk a lot, but my customers do. So my calls are usually really long. What I need to do to make them short? Well, that one is a really, really interesting one. First of all, as I said, you can interrupt the customer. It is allowed, but just be polite. And also, as we discussed before, it's better to have a plan. It's better to always have a plan how you're gonna lead the conversation. So if you have the plan, you should have some checkpoints there. And for example, sometimes it's okay to stop the customer. So sometimes you can tell him, oh, all right, I got your idea. I get the idea. I got what the issue is. Let me try to do the following. And well, actually, don't forget that you are on shift. You're on the call. You're a support engineer who leads the conversation. Don't allow customer to lead it. You are the one who is leading here. So be confident and just use the plan. To tell the truth. What phrases? I think that question is about if we can use the phrases to tell the truth or not. Well, it is okay to use this phrase on the phone conversation, but not so often. Try to actually avoid it, because sometimes when you're saying to tell the truth, customer thinks that before you were telling like you were lying, you were not telling the truth. How to show clients we value them? Well, we actually got this question before, covered it already. You should always smile. You should always be polite. You should always show your interest in helping the customer, and you should be attentive to the details. What if the customer is from Italy? Well, we have customers from different countries, and it's okay that some customers talk more. So listen carefully, make a short, talk with the small talk with the customer. Ask him about the weather. Ask him about his, I don't know, country in general, and you'll see how that you actually build in the relationship with the customer here, and the customer will trust you and will trust you with the issue and with the solution. All right, looks like we covered all the questions here. Let's go next. And the last question for tonight is how to answer tricky questions on release dates and ETAs for bugs from a demanding customer. Let's go straight for the example here. We have lots of calls from the customers when they are asking for the ETAs for the bugs, for example, or when they are asking for a fix. And moreover, they are asking for a fix now. So they're saying that I don't care, you have escalated it, I don't care if your engineering is not working at the moment, but I need the issue fixed now. So what to do in this kind of situation? First of all, again, calm down the customer. Show him that you are trying to help here. Show him that you are actually interested in helping him. And give him the exact steps, what's going to be done next with the ETAs. Also, some tips from my end. Never tell the customers the real release dates of ETAs for the bugs fixes. Well, we all know that engineering works in their time frames, and sometimes they postpone releases, sometimes they postpone custom builds. So always make it the date plus 2 weeks. And also you need this time to actually test the issue in your test environment, and to provide the customer with the real solution. But the next tip, better to tell it will be fixed in one of the next updates. So for example, if you know that this issue, the customer issue, will be fixed, but you're not sure if it will be fixed in the next update, just tell him that it will be fixed in one of the next updates. In this case, you're actually telling the truth, but you don't know for sure when it's going to be fixed. So that's fine. Just update him when the fix is ready, when the fix is released, get back to the customer and provide him with the solution. Case number 4. Here is actually the one that goes to the marketing right away. Sometimes we receive an emails or requests about the promotions or about the information that can be provided in other departments, not in the customer service or the support. So what to do in this case? Of course, you need to actually forward this request to the other team, but how do you do that? When you need to forward the conversation to another department, always include the phrase, let me know if they don't go back to you. So this actually shows that you're interested in helping the customer. For example, if the customer asks you about the license and you don't know the license prices and you don't know, well, what actually plan he needs, just forward the request to the sales team and put this phrase, let me know if they don't get back to you, meaning that if the sales team doesn't get back to the customer, just ask the customer to email you or call you back and tell that, well, they don't get back to me, so could you please actually help me? So in this case, you will go to sales and you will go to marketing, well, to other department, and to ask about the request that you have forwarded. All right. Do you have any questions regarding what we just were talking about? If yes, just share them in chat. If no, let's just check the results. So again, tonight we were talking about customer conversations. It's very important to build a relationship with the customer from the first hello till the resolution. So always smile, listen careful to your customers, and be attentive to the details. Be professional and confident. Always show that you know the product and you actually can help. Don't be afraid of asking for the details. If the customer is demanding or if the customer is not very talkative, ask him for the permission first. Would it be okay if I clarify some questions? This is a polite phrase that actually opens the conversation with a demanding customer. Always inform and clarify the next steps. The customer should know what you're gonna do. Close the conversation with the relationship in mind. What does it mean? That this time you actually provided the customer with the solution, but the customer can always get back to you. And it's better if the first experience with you was great, but if not, always try to make the experience awesome. Always try to build a relationship and think about the next request, next steps, and next tickets. And don't forget about the customer's time, because you're on shift, it's your work actually to provide support. But the customer doesn't have to sit in front of his computer for hours while you're trying to troubleshoot the issue. Think about the time and try to solve the issue as fast as possible. Time is actually the most valuable currency. Show the customer that you value their time as much as they do. Ask them how much time they have and be direct. All right, so seems like we don't have questions and we answered all in chat already. I really would like to thank you all for your attention. It's really great to have you here and to have a real-time discussion and to know that you're actually interested in our webinar.